Hi, Will.
Your audio.
Sorry, I'm still trying to get familiar with this a little bit.
Oh,
Learning how to be a host.
oh, that's fine, Karina. No worries.
All right, so you can get started. This class will be recorded.
Was the first class recorded too?
Yeah.
This is most likely it was, yes.
Great, great.
All right, so just get started.
All right. Well, hi everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Will, and me and my fiance Amy Erickson visit with our pets, Rexy and Whitney, at the Henry Street Senior Center, and we miss all you guys very much. And it's really nice to be able to do these sessions with you. I don't know if you tuned in last week, but we got started on some drawing stuff, and it was our first lesson again. So just to go over a refresher, we talked about how to draw the way that, closer to the way you would want to from a reference, and ways that, and things that and tendencies that we can avoid when trying to draw more like the way we want to. So in the beginning of last class, I talked about, hold on, give me one sec. In the beginning of last class, I talked about how we can avoid making, using techniques that are not helpful to the way we want to develop. And most people, when they first start out drawing, they will or drawing a face, they will draw in the corner of their page and don't really know how to tackle or approach it. So I drew this circle over here to show that some people will even go and just draw a circle in the corner or any format that they want to. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And a lot of the times they'll just draw circles for the placeholders and the places. And I think that it's important to realize that our faces are, and I said this last week, our faces are unique. And we want to be able to draw faces closer to how we see them. And obviously we all see things very differently. That is very true. And we all have unique visions. But I think that when we look at something, we want to see and embellish the features that make us unique physically. And I think that that's very important. So that's more or less what we went over in our lesson, in the beginning of our lesson last week. And last week, I was teaching you how to draw children, particularly young children. And you can use whatever medium you want. You can use pencil, you can use Sharpie, you can use paint, but I like to teach with a Sharpie. And most of the time I like to draw with a Sharpie too. I don't like to paint with Sharpies, but I like to draw with them. And I think that I'll tell you, I'll go over what we went over about drawing a young child's face last week as well. So when you're drawing a child's face, you'll notice that their features are different than pretty much altogether than a more developed human being's face. So when drawing a child, you'll notice that their features are a little bit more scrunched together. They're a little bit closer together, and their faces are a little bit wider. So they're stockier. They haven't grown and elongated yet into their full adult bodies. So it's very interesting drawing children because they are more similar. Usually when we get older, we age more uniquely. So we end up looking a little bit more unique as we get older. But for children, they all look kind of similar, in an interesting way. They're very connected in that way. And this week, I'm going to teach us in a similar way, I'll show you step by step, but I'm going to draw an adult's face from a photo. I also did this from a photo, and I recommend if you don't have someone sitting in front of you, that it's important to draw from a reference, and that's how I was taught how to do it, and that's how I like to draw in general, because I like to know what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to draw to the best of my abilities. So again, yeah, thank you so much for coming today, and let's hit it and get started. So I'm going to be drawing an adult's face. First off, you can start from the outside, like we said last week. You can start from the outside, or you can start from the inside. You can start from the top, you can start from the bottom. But it's important to kind of just...
Hi, Olivia, how are you? I'm working on the calendar for June. What days is it that Vocal Ease is gonna be here?
Oh, I think ask Karina to put hers on mute.
Oh, Karina, can you just put yours on mute? I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a lesson.
I'm gonna call you back. All right. Sorry. And what else? What other day? 1 second. 1 second. All right. Thanks. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Karina. Okay, I'm back. So sorry about that, guys. So you can start from the outside of the face. You can start from the inside of the face, but you really want to make sure that your proportions are right. And like I said last week, we're not trying to draw something exact, but we're trying to get something that's recognizable and something that is unique, more or less unique to what we're looking at or trying to draw. So I'm going to start with a new reference today. You'll notice in adult faces that their proportions are not as scrunched together as their childlike counterparts. So let me just... So here we have a basic mark for where I started the eyes. We're going to start them more or less in the center of the page. And you want to quickly mark out, because like I also said last week, you want to quickly mark out where the nose and mouth are going to line up as well. So we have kind of a more stretched out face this time. And, but we're using a similar method to what we did last week, even though this is an adult now. He also has more features. This man has a mustache. Goes all the way down, and he's got some more shadows on his face to define his face. Always when you're drawing, you want to understand that the darkness that you're drawing and the light, they interplay with each other and they help define your space better. So if you have a shadow, it's gonna show more, it's gonna define where the light parts are. We want to work in light and dark. And when you're working with a Sharpie, your halftone is more or less, or where you smudge and make those kind of shadows is more or less defined by your line quality. We went over that last week too. So how I draw, the line that I use to draw the nose and the eyes and the mouth is going to be different than the hair, and that gives it kind of diversity. Go in, make a shadow over one part of the eye to kind of define it, and go down to the nose just a little bit, just a little bit. I want to be careful. Usually when you see people draw portraits, there's a line that goes, I'll show you on mine. There's a line that goes from the eye, the outer part of the eye cavity down to the nose. I don't like to make mine too intense because it can end up making it look flat, and that's not really what we're going for. I am defining now the shape of the top of his head. So now we have, it's a bit big, but we have kind of more direction over where how all the proportions will work together. And after you get the top of the head, and the bottom, you can start to do the sides. So now we have the side of the face. And after you do and get the regular features down and get the proportions down, you can go in and sort of start to detail it to make it look a little bit less flat again. And you want to detail around the eyes. And now I'm going to draw his ears. Made a little mark under his mouth, start to get more detail. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to try to get a little bit more detail so we can really start to see this thing pop out a little bit more. You want to get the eye socket and the eyelids, the under eyelids. But honestly, in the beginning, it all really depends on the original marks you make. Like I said, you can start in the middle of the face, you can start on the side of the face, but you really want to get everything. I like to start in the center of the page because then I know I'm getting my entire drawing. Because then I know I'm getting my entire reference on the page. My fiance Amy is looking a lot better than last week, actually. I really like it. I would have liked to have seen if she could get the top of the head in there. Like, we're trying to get this all on the page, but it looks really nice. I think she's really listening to me. But again, in the first lesson, we talked about how we can approach the page, how we want to get everything on the page, and not have awkward compositions. We want to have it look centered. Not quite like a mugshot, obviously, but we want to have something that where we can show a command of the page. Again, I'm just embellishing certain features that he has, just getting some nitty-gritty details in here. You kind of looks like Tupac a little bit, right? Like I said, it's all in the first marks you make, and that's going to dictate how the rest of the drawing looks. You can make some action marks, I made some action marks on the neck to try to get a little bit more detail in there to give it some movement. You can just make like straight lines, or some people like to cross shade. I don't really like cross shading. I like going up and down, but you really want to get some movement into your piece. And you can even do that with, as you're seeing, I'm drawing with a permanent marker. So you're just going to bring the ball of the nose. I didn't have that before. Bring that in there. Keep on, and we're just going to keep on trying to get some detail in this. All right, we're almost done here. And we're gonna just, his shirt is the darkest. Right now his shirt is light, and we're gonna try to make his shirt dark because it's the darkest part of the picture that I'm looking at. Even if you're not drawing completely realistically, we can try to follow the instructions of what we're looking at a little bit. I think everybody should use a thick drawing utensil, a drawing instrument. I think that when we draw with thick instruments, we can get a lot of really beautiful contrast and everything. So this is my drawing of an adult face today, and I'll show you the drawing from last week as well in comparison to just end our session. So this was my drawing from last week. As you can tell, the proportions are elongated, and his face is more defined this time. An adult's face is often more defined than a child's, and especially a young child around 2 or 3. And the more we keep drawing together, I can keep on showing what makes us really unique, and how to get closer to what we want when we're just doing a quick drawing and so we can feel in control of our page and of the drawing itself. Again, thank you so much for joining me today, and it's been a blast, and hopefully we can do some more cool stuff next week. So I hope you've gotten something from this, and me and Amy will see you soon. Thanks, guys.